Dan, what's going on, man?
Not much, Didi. Happy late Labor Day. We're just through the Labor Day weekend. People were listening to this, but you and I are in the middle of it, enjoying it now. So happy Labor Day.
Yeah, man. What does Labor Day mean to you?
It's that much needed extra day off that we haven't had since the 4th of July. That's it. It's it's looking forward to that. Those months of the year. I don't know how many it is. 6 seems like half of the months there's those built-in holidays that it's just that nice bonus day off that you need. But Labor Day, I mean, it's the start of fall. It's an extra day off of work, and it's the unofficial official start of fall.
Okay, see, this is something I wanted to get into, and you brought it up. Like, summer starts when to you, Dan? When does summer start?
Memorial Day.
Yes. Why don't we acknowledge that? Like, why don't we acknowledge the fact that the beginning of summer is Memorial Day weekend and the end of summer is Labor Day weekend? Why do we do this? Oh, it's the end of September or whatever, September 20 something, or it's
Yeah.
June 20 something. Why do we do that? Like, why don't we just call it like it actually is?
Yeah, I think we pay too much respect to the sun, who has completely betrayed all of us from coast to coast lately. So why honor the sun and go on the solstice calendar with, like you said, June 21st, September 21st? No need for that. No need for that.
No.
We all know. We're all on the same page with Memorial Day to Labor Day. I'm with you.
Yeah, it's the stupidest thing. I just like no one acknowledges this. Like no one cares about this. It's like let's call it this. I mean, for some people, like I felt like the end of summer for a lot of people was like, oh yeah, school's back in time. This is school's back in, so that's when summer ends. But we'll go
Yeah.
with Labor Day weekend. That's what it is. That's what it means to me. Because like I don't know who started Labor Day. I guess I could Google this or something like that, but I don't really feel like it. Um, but shouts to that person. Because like no one would ever give us days off. And we've talked about this before when it comes to
Mhm.
other holidays. If we didn't have it. So I hope everyone's enjoying their Labor Day and just not doing anything and enjoying their Labor Day weekend, just not doing a damn thing. That's how it
That's
should be.
that's what it's all about. That's exactly how it should be. Busy summers, it's time to enjoy, take the extra time off. We don't get them super often, so enjoy that and get ready for fall, man. I mean, it's hot here on the East Coast. We've been a couple days into the 90s, but in the
Oh,
mornings, there's a couple of days where we dip it into the 50s. So we're hitting extremes, but it's fall.
yeah.
Football season has begun. It's fall.
Yeah. The weather was trash here this weekend. It rained 2 days.
Ooh,
Hasn't hit the 90s, has barely hit 80 this weekend.
jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, sun to
Dude,
train
I'm telling you,
everybody. We
I'm
too
about to
much for
move.
us, not enough for you. Like, let's just get to our calendars. Let's forget the sun.
Seriously. Well, what's up? It's the brunch breakdown. Didi out here in Los Angeles. Chris is somewhere, maybe delivering a baby. I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll
Who
see. Yeah,
knows?
he could be. Whatever. And then Dan is in Pittsburgh. And today on the show, we're going to be talking Deion Sanders, the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, who are, at least for this week, going to be the whole talk of all things football. So we're going to be talking about Deion. Jimmy Buffett, RIP. RIP to the legend, Jimmy Buffett, but he does something that maybe you didn't know about. We're going to talk about that. This U.S. Open drink that is that's going to pass $9 million of drinks sold over the time of the U.S. Open. I can't wait to talk about that. And then we got music, we got beer, we got just all things. It's the brunch breakdown. You know what you're here for. Let's do it. Dan, where can they find it?
I'll tell them where they can find it. And ironically, as you said, where Chris might be. I mean, we're talking Labor Day. Is it possible? Labor, different type of going
Ooh.
into labor on Labor Day. We don't know that for a fact, but it could be because he's not here. So if you know where he is, let us know, because we don't know. Maybe that's what's going on. But just made me think of that.
He's down there. He's down there saying Blue 42,
Yeah.
Blue 42.
he's celebrating a different start of a new season for him there.
Yep.
But yes, you can find the brunch breakdown anywhere podcasts are available, people. If for some reason the brunch breakdown isn't available where you listen to podcasts, you listen somewhere obscure, Maybe you listen to, Putin pods in Russia. Maybe you're a Putin pods fan, and like, guess what? Yeah, we're probably not there, but we're everywhere else. Okay. If there's anywhere else that you like to listen to podcasts, you're like, Brunch Breakdown, I can't find you. You let us know. I'm telling you, we'll be there, but we're everywhere besides Putin pods. Okay. That you can find podcasts, new episodes every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. Hit follow, hit subscribe. Those episodes will come right to you. Listen to them on the go, download them, take them with you. Or you can watch the full video episodes. Those premiere on our Facebook page and our YouTube page at 9 a.m. Noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. But you can watch them on demand anytime you want to watch after that. YouTube, Facebook, everywhere on social media too. Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads, Triller, TikTok. I'm sure Putin has his own too. We're not there, but we're at all those other places at Brunch Breakdown. Find us there. I don't know why I'm really turning Russian into this. Just Putin pods clicked, and I don't know. It just rolled off the tongue, and now we're going with it. But you can find the Brunch Bites everywhere on social media. And Dee mentioned that we have music. Of course we have music. We have music each and every week. Sounds of Brunch. We upload that to Spotify. Exclusively find it there. Just search Sound of Brunch and enjoy.
Dude, if there was a Putin pods, we'd have to figure out how to get on there, and guaranteed that's where the Brunch Breakdown blows up, and we'd have to go on tour in Russia. Like, we'd have thousands of people coming to the live show.
Wouldn't that be the story? Wouldn't that be the story?
We'd be so conflicted. We wouldn't be telling anybody where we're going.
I know. We'd be reading. We'd have ad reads, in the middle of like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this one. Oh boy. Complete disbelief, but we're just taking the money and running with it. We sold out to Russia.
It's like when artists do those shows and like for some like, I don't know, some dictator and like, or they do it for some like prince in Dubai or something who's like super corrupt, but they paid like Justin Bieber $10 million to go perform Baby 3 times.
You're like, hey, I get it. It's a big payday.
Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, and so do we.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Oh man. All right. Well, it's time to get random topics off our chests. And Dan, go for it. What do you got on your mind today, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna get straight into the point with this one.
Go for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, listeners of the Brunch Breakdown, citizens of Russia, stop it with these ugly and ridiculous mullet haircuts and these real thin, creepy mustaches. Like, just stop it. It's a terrible look. I hate it. And it's mostly, but not entirely, the younger generation. I'm not putting it all on Gen Zers. It's not all them. But they look absolutely ridiculous. Whoever started this trend of bringing back the mullet is just one ugly looking dude that just couldn't get by. And it concerns me. It concerns me that there's not enough smart people out there to think, you know what? This is not good. This is not a good look for 2023 and 2024 and beyond. It's not. We need both men and women to speak up and put an end to this look. Okay? You all look like creepy boys from the 70s and 80s, and it wasn't a good look then, and it certainly is not a good look now. I don't understand it. There's plenty of great hairstyle options out there. Your boy's rocking one right now, okay? This doesn't put itself together in the morning. You need a little effort. You don't just let it grow back, keep the side short, and call it a fun day, fun mullet. No. Someone in your life is rocking out with one of these mullets or one of these like really thin mustaches. Please speak up and put an end to this, because I can't do it anymore out in public with these people. And I don't know. It concerns me.
Amen.
Thank you.
That's the State of the Union address right there. People in Russia everywhere. I get really bummed. I get really upset when I see people doing that to their kids.
Yes. Yes. Oh
You
gosh.
see a lot of mullets with like little boys and stuff. And I'm
Yes.
like, guys, I know you may think this is like funny or something, but it's not. Don't do that to your children. Please don't. It's not funny. It's not good. And like, don't give your kids a hairstyle that you wouldn't give yourself. Don't do that. And also, just any adult out there with them, just it's never been a hairstyle that we didn't make fun of. That's what I don't understand.
Right.
It was never cool. You know what I mean? There was times where like there are hairstyles that like we don't think are cool now, but we thought they were cool then.
Yeah.
You know? So I get some things coming back, just kind of the way that clothes have come back. And so, you know, clothes come back and stuff, but it's usually the clothes that we liked back then.
Right.
Are the clothes that kids are like, oh, that looks cool when I looked at my mom's high school graduation photo or something like that. So I get it. But mullet, never something that anyone thought was cool or a good look. Let's just not.
Let's put an end to that. Like I couldn't imagine because again, it's not all the younger generation. It's just primarily them. But like, can you imagine one of them, they're getting into the workforce in 6, 7, 8 years, and somebody walks into a meeting with a mullet? Be like, get the hell out of here. No, I can't take you seriously. If that's what you're doing, if you committed yourself to that look, I don't want to hear what anything comes out of your mouth. So get out of here. So please, let's, men and women of the world, I'm calling out to the world now, put an end to this. Speak up and say, hey, you, that's ugly. Cut that off.
There are some things that are acceptable just to say it's ugly. I feel like, and I feel like we need to do that more often. We just need to be like, bell bottoms, ugly.
Yes.
Just quit it.
There needs to be a panel. I feel like we've talked about this before, where there needs to be a panel before a group decides that something is back in style and everybody jumps on board. There needs to be an educated panel that says, no, we're not doing this. This is not becoming popular. This was bad then. It's bad now. Don't do it. And people just, because other people start to do it, then it becomes trend and nobody thinks. Use your brain, people. Use a mirror.
Cargo shorts.
Oh,
cargo shorts. You see a dude out there with cargo shorts or cargo pants. You tell him that's ugly.
Call it out.
I don't care. Call it out. I don't care if you're on your first date, met the guy on Hinge or Tinder or Bumble or whatever it is. You go see him. He's got cargo pants on. Might be a great guy, but you look at him and you say, this date doesn't have to end right now, but those pants do.
Trying to change things for the better here, people. Honestly, we're just looking out. Please help each other. People helping people.
That's right.
That's all we ask.
If you see something, say something.
There it is. There's another great shirt with that, and then just cargo pants.
Just the big no with the cross going through the cargo pants. If you see something, say something.
We'll work on it.
Oh my gosh. All right. So this Labor Day weekend, I went to see the Queen, Beyonce.
You did.
And let me talk about a spectacle. Just there's one point where she's riding this humongous chrome horse. There's a point where she's dancing on a tank. She is flying through the sky. There's a point where she's sleeping, like during Cozy from Renaissance album. There's a point where like there's this dance sequence, and then this like bed comes out, and she's just like standing up but like dancing in this bed. Dude, it's a spectacle. It's incredible. Like it was so awesome, and I loved every second of it. And when we talked about Love on Top last week and how like everyone's singing, well, she literally sings the song and then just cuts the music. Whole crowd, 70,000 or whatever odd people at SoFi Stadium singing Love on Top for like 3 minutes. And all she's doing is tapping the microphone to keep everyone on beat. That's all she's doing. She's literally just going boom, boom, like just keeping everybody on beat. And I was like, this is this is top 10 concert experience that I've ever, just like moment that I've ever experienced. Like it was awesome. And but one thing I want to mention here, and I'm going to get this off my chest too. Oh, also DJ Khaled opened randomly, just like, I guess he tweeted it out like the day of the show and was like, "Hey, I'm opening up for Beyonce tonight." Brought out Wiz Khalifa, Lil Wayne, Roddy Ricch. Like it was, Offset. Like it was wild. Like it was just, and that's just, there's house lights on, just a little DJ booth. It was, she hasn't had an opener all tour. Just, just super random. But one thing I want to get off my chest is, there have been two people having these huge tours this year, and Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Okay. And I need people to stop constantly comparing the two. And the reason I need people to stop doing it is because we don't do this to any other people. We don't do this to the dudes. There's always, like, last summer, Bad Bunny and The Weeknd were on tour selling out the same stadiums that Taylor Swift and Beyonce are. Right now, like Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen are selling them out in country music. No one's like, Luke Combs versus Morgan Wallen, whose tour's better? Who's selling more tickets? Who's selling more? Who's doing this? It's just stupid. It's like, we don't do this with dudes. Why are we doing this? These two women are out here doing these amazing things. They're going to have like two of the highest grossing tours ever. Why are we making this a battle between them two? It's so stupid. They're both doing awesome things. And we don't do this with any other. We don't do this with dudes who are mostly people who are like, we're not like, oh, Metallica versus Elton John. We're not doing that. like, we're just not doing it. Like, there's never been a Paul McCartney versus Stevie Wonder stadium conversation. We're not doing it. Like, I don't know. It's just messed up. And like, when you're at the show and you're watching this awesome show, and I know people who went to the Eras tour and they're like, it's the best show they've ever seen. And it's like, why can't we just be like, celebrate them? Be like, this is an awesome thing. Why is it always got to be like women versus women? And I just think that's like so messed up. And it almost like clouds what these people are doing. It's like Taylor's show's going to be in theaters. Like, I think Beyonce's is going to be on Amazon at some point by Christmas or something. It's like, we're all going to get to see these great shows. All these things are awesome. Like, why do they have to turn into these battles and fights on the internet when no one is fighting over these dudes who are all doing the same thing? Who are doing the same thing? It's just messed up. I don't know. I don't like it. And it annoys me. But anyways, Beyonce, Renaissance tour. Incredible. Good God. Live music, man. It's great.
That sounds amazing. And a great point by you. And something else, ironically, that kind of in the same vein came to my mind this week is we talked about it when Taylor Swift was, on tour and when she came to Pittsburgh, and then there's just people that complain, right? When these huge stars, particularly these women, come to town, there's just people that complain, and I don't get it, this and that. Beyonce was supposed to come here. Unfortunately, that show got canceled. So I'm sure it would have been the same thing. Yet, another person that you mentioned, Morgan Wallen, was in town this past week. And Edie, I'm sure you saw it. The video of 3, 4, maybe young women fighting amongst and in the porta potties at the Morgan Wallen show. It was quite a disgusting display, to be honest with you, in more than one way. I'll say this. That doesn't happen at a Taylor Swift show or a Beyonce show. It doesn't. That happens at dudes. Kenny Chesney, Morgan Wallen. That's where that happens. So quit your mouth. Shut your mouth. Quit your complaining about these shows, because you disgusting people are the ones fighting each other over literally in shit in line, getting so drunk at these other shows when these phenomenal women, Taylor Swift and Beyonce, are putting on the best shows ever, and all you do is complain about it. And then you compare the two of them, but not anybody else, to your point, Didi.
Dude, the Romper Stomper is what they were calling one of the girls at that. That video was wild. And the fact that there's like 3 angles of it. So I'm just like
how many people were back there just watching, not stopping?
We were all just watching it, because like at first I saw the angle where they're already in the porta potty fighting, and I'm like, how does this even happen? Then I saw that. Then you see the angle where somebody was there right at the beginning. It was like it was a freaking. It was like it was HBO boxing or freaking UFC on ESPN
they
Plus.
knew.
Like they were there for the bell ringing. Like I was like, how did you know that this was gonna start? Because it's like nothing is happening. The porta potty doors closed. There's two girls arguing. Why are you filming this? Like, did you know? Like maybe they went to high school together. I don't know the backstory. Maybe there will be a documentary on it or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was something. Yeah, and it just made me think, God, man, when you just, I don't know how you stop tailgating, because I know they can be like the official gates don't open at the tailgate lots like right next to the stadium, but every other lot's open.
Yeah,
I don't know how they stop that, but it's just like you can tell everybody, if you're fighting in a porta potty, you've been drinking too long.
Yeah, and I thought the show started at 5:30. And so I don't know if that was a way to detract people from tailgating, because if the show's starting earlier, maybe you got to just get down there and get to the show. No, what that does is that makes more people take the entire day off of work so that they can tailgate in enough time before your show starts early. It doesn't help anything either.
But also, Dan, we go to shows all the time, and for these country shows and these big, like for these country shows especially, like when they say that the show starts at 5:30, yeah, that just means somebody's on stage.
Yeah,
like somebody's brother or sister who sang a song, who's written songs in Nashville, is on stage right now. But you're not going in. You're not going in till dark, because that's when Morgan Wallen's going to go on stage. So that just gives more people time to tailgate. So that means if the concert starts at 5:30, that means the parking lots open at, I don't know, 2:30
earlier. Yeah.
So you've been drinking from 2:30 until, and it was daylight when this fight happened. So they'd already been drinking too long.
Yep.
Like, and now you're at PNC Park smelling like fucking Porta John doo-doo. I just, like, did they go? And I just wondered, did you go home, or did you like wash yourself off and go back,
clean up and stick around? Yeah, that's a great question. We need follow-up investigative work on that. Not a proud moment for our city, but we've come to expect that when those artists come to town.
Yeah,
unfortunately, it's kind of standard.
Trib, City Paper, get on this story. There's more questions that need to be. Come on. We need more questions. Find these people. I'm sure they're willing to talk. I'm sure they are.
Oh, yeah.
Shouts to the Romper Stomper. Good Lord. I'm happy you brought that up, because I forgot about that. All right, let's get into some drinks. Well, Dan, I want to throw it back to a drink that I had this past summer when I was at Disney, and I tried to make it this week. Didn't go well. Tried to make it. So when I went to Chef Art Smith's Southern Cooking, I forget what the hell the place is called. Home Cooking. That's what it's called. I had watermelon moonshine. Okay. I had a watermelon moonshine mash, and it seemed very simple. Get watermelon moonshine, mash some things up, tastes good. No, it didn't. I don't know why it didn't taste the same, but I'm a little bummed about it. But it also made me think, damn it, man, people know how to make drinks, and maybe I just don't. But anyways, it's watermelon moonshine, fresh watermelon, limes, and then simple syrup. All things I have. Very simple to make. I guess the watermelon moonshine that I had was gross, and I don't know, but it didn't taste the same. I'm a little bummed about it. But anyways, that drink was awesome that I had this summer, and I wanted to make it again, and it didn't work out for me. But I do want to shout out that drink. And yeah, so sometimes you just realize you're not a bartender, and I'm not, and it sucked. But anyways, watermelon moonshine mash. Try to make it. Maybe yours will be better than mine.
Yeah, well, it sounds good, and like you said, it sounds simple.
Yeah, it is. Yes,
and it's funny. I'll hear this from my wife every once in a while, where we'll have this like phenomenal craft cocktail out at a cocktail bar, and she'll just go like, oh, "Why can't I make something like this?" I'm like, because you're not behind the bar, like doing this every day. You're not supposed to. Or we go out to a fancy restaurant. She's like, why can't I make food like this? I'm like, because you're not a chef. You're not supposed to. That would like lower the value of these people and these recipes. Like, this isn't something you're supposed to just easily replicate at home. It takes time, it takes training. It's not supposed to be that easy. But that one sounds a little easy. So I don't know. Maybe the way you said the moonshine was bad. That could be the case. That could be the case.
You know, justice for Shannon, because I understand exactly how she feels. Because every time I go to make steaks, anytime I go to make steaks, anytime I like see we're at a bar and I'm just like, wait, that's all that's in here? And I'm like, oh, I can do that, or I can come close. And I'm like, why can't I come close? Like, why can't I do that? Like, I watched a 9-minute video of Bobby Flay making steaks at his house. And I thought for sure, I was like, none of this is hard. None of this looks hard. Like, I'll use more salt. I'll do this. How does he use all that fucking salt? How does he use all that salt? And his doesn't taste salty, but mine somehow tastes salty. It tastes like I use too much salt. I don't understand. I watched a 9-minute video of him making a steak, and I was like, I can do this. Couldn't do it. I understand what Shannon's saying. It makes no sense. Like, screw you, Dan. I know what I know what she's talking about. Justice for Shannon.
Are you letting your steak sit after you put the salt on it? You're letting it sit for a while?
Yes, I let it sit.
Okay. Because I was going to say that could be the mistake, is you're throwing it right on the grill, but the salt is supposed to dry it out and keep the moisture inside, right? That's the point. So
brings out the flavor. Help you there.
Brings out the flavor. Interesting. Okay.
Justice for Shannon. I get it. I get it.
Well, for me this week, I've been drinking this weekend, and we'll continue today to celebrate the holiday / start of fall. But not right now. It's a little early, but trust me, I'll get to it. Didi, this might be familiar to you. This is a beer that you can't get anywhere really, except Cape Cod. This is Cape Cod, Devil's Purse Brewing Company from Cape Cod. Okay. My mom took a visit there, brought some home. She brought some Nantucket beers, some Cape Cod beers, and this is the Pollock Rip IPA from Devil's Purse, located in South Dennis, and had this tailgating over the weekend. I just realized the can's black and gold, and that's kind of badass. I didn't realize that. But yeah, Devil's Purse. This is the Pollock Rip IPA. Really good, really well balanced IPA. Because it's got a moderate amount of hops, but it's not too bitter. Sometimes an IPA too bitter for me, a little too much. Dry, then I'm like, I need water. That's not the point of the beer. This has a little maltiness to it, balances out just that touch of sweetness. And I really, really like this. I'm glad my mom ended up bringing home a couple of these for me so I can enjoy more than one that I'll continue to do this weekend. But the Pollock Rip IPA, Devil's Purse. Shout out to Cape Cod, Didi.
Dude, shout out to Cape Cod. I'm like looking how far this is away from Siobhan's aunt's house right now.
Yeah, you need to. I'm like, curious. I'm curious about this brewery. If there's got the tap room. Yeah, established 2013, so they've been around a while, celebrating 10 years this year.
Okay.
So yeah, check that out. Keep me updated. But Devil's Purse, nice. I like it. I like it a lot.
Nice. I love that. All right. Well, that's what we're drinking. So we're sipping on. What's Chris sipping on? Ooh, breast milk.
I oh, we can only.
And that's the brunch breakdown. We're out.
I did see him at a tailgate over the weekend. You can find time to tailgate, but you can't find time for the brunch breakdown. Just kidding. He was drinking good old Son of Juice. Son of Juice. His beer of the year, that one that we discovered in Chicago almost exactly 12 months ago. It was August of last year. We discovered Son of Juice in Chicago. So he had some Son of Juice. And he told me he's got some beer for me. And he might throw in a couple Son of Juices. So very excited for that, if and when we see Chris again.
Nice. Well, that is Brews Day, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get
Oh, man.
into the main menu. Okay, so Daniel, I don't know if you heard this. Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes won equaled their win total from last year with a upset victory over number 17 TCU. And it is the story, because if you don't know, Deion came into Colorado and literally told everyone to get out and brought in a whole new squad. Like, I think they said it was like 40, I think it was 53 transfers came in, like almost 86 new players.
Yep.
Like, just an insane amount. And they came through, and who knows if they're I have no idea where this is going to go from here, but I honestly feel like Deion should retire. I don't think it's going to get any better than this. Like, they could lose on Saturday. We have no idea how good this team is. We have no idea how good TCU is, but like, I just think he should retire this week, because there's not going to be any more praise unless they win the national championship than he's going to get this week. What do you think? Colorado, Deion, how you feel?
That's an interesting point. He retires now, and then wait for the offers to come in that he was expecting this offseason that he wasn't getting from the likes of his almost mater at Florida State and so on. Because he's literally on top of the world right now of what he did with that massive upset. You kind of referenced this. I don't know if this says more about Colorado or TCU. Because TCU was in the national championship game last year where they got blown out, and then they lose their star quarterback and a number of other players, not exactly known to be a defensive juggernaut because of the conference they're in, and just because of how they played football. They just put up points last year when they needed to. So defensively, not real strong, and it'll be interesting at the end of the year where TCU and Colorado end up. But like you said, this is on top of the world for Deion in Colorado, matching their win total from last year, and a huge upset. It's hard for me to root for the man. Specifically. And this is a selfish reason, and no listeners will care. I don't need your sympathy, but I got to tell you why. Because my Kent State Golden Flashes have historically struggled at football. Long time. Struggled at football. And we had finally hired a head coach who had brought us our first couple of consecutive winning seasons and our first bowl victory in like 40 some years. It just doesn't happen at Kent State. And everybody was excited. This guy brought a unique offense, a fast, high-powered offense, and it was exciting to get behind Kent State football for once, and to see them win a bowl game was amazing. And Deion had to take him away from us and hired him as his offensive coordinator. The offense that put up a ridiculous amount of yardage and points over the weekend, the same offense. So, and Kent State played the University of Central Florida and got absolutely blown out. Kent State has 0 returning starters on offense. 0 out of 11. Not one. Coach Lewis took him with him to Colorado. You mentioned 53 transfer players. A lot of Kent State players in that followed their head coach, who's now the offensive coordinator at Colorado. So it is very difficult for me to get behind. I think it's fascinating, but I can't, it hurts my soul of what happened to my alma mater in this process to see Deion succeed. And now we just back to square one with the Golden Flashes.
Oh boy. I didn't know this hit personal. I didn't know this hit deep. You know, it is college football deserves everything it's getting right now.
Yeah.
Because did you see that? What is it? I think Texas State, or one of the state schools that shouldn't be winning football games, that you've never heard of. Texas State, they had the second amount of transfers. It was like 45 transfers, and they beat a powerhouse Division I team this weekend too.
Really?
And
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it was like some new coach, Texas State, and they won their game, and it was like, oh yeah, they beat Baylor 42-31, and
Ooh, not a good weekend
and
for
I'm
Texas
like,
football.
yeah, and I was like, Texas State beat Baylor 42-31. They had 46 transfers, 46 transfers, and I'm now just how you were talking about Kent State and actually having a personal reason for this.
Yeah.
Like, I just think about this and I'm like, I don't know how West Virginia gets good again. I have no idea. I don't know. I'm literally just thinking about it, just like I don't know. I don't know. Like, maybe if, dude, I don't know. If Randy Moss becomes the coach of West Virginia and then just like brings people in, I don't know how you're going to get that many transfers to come and save this dumpster fire of a program. I have no idea. I don't know how anyone doesn't think that way after seeing this. They're just like, okay, how can your program that like used to be good, but you made a terrible coaching hire and he's just sucked all the life and fun out of the program. How did you get that without Deion or without somebody who is probably not going to come to Morgantown, West Virginia?
Right. Because now that you can transfer easily with no penalty, that's the biggest thing, with no penalty. It's just chaos out there, and they're going to follow a guy like Deion, who can hire the best coaches and bring in the best players. So how does your school, other schools keep up with that? I have no idea. It is college football is getting exactly what it deserves right now, and it's complete chaos. And I have no idea where it goes, how it happens, how it ends, what gets changed. You feel like there's a lot of change coming with college football. It feels like they have to put an end to this transfer thing. It feels like only they can make a stipulation where if your coach leaves, you can leave and be eligible immediately. But if you're like, I don't get my playing time here, I'm going over here. Like, I don't know, but we'll see, because we're going to have two conferences playing each other. It's going to be down to two conferences one day anyway, so it may not matter. Yeah,
like, I don't have a problem with the transfer portal. I don't. It's just when you see it work, it does just makes you think, like, who's going to come to your school in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at now. I'm just like, because Boulder is right outside of Denver. Like, it's right there. Like, it's right there. Like, so you got major city right there. Like, I don't know. I'm very nervous about the trend, because it just feels like there's going to be a lot of people going to Colorado after that game. It doesn't matter what Colorado does this season. Like, I'm like that energy, because these first few games, you look at Colorado's schedule, okay? They have Nebraska next week, who they should beat, right? Like,
because they just lost. They were supposed to win their opener, and Minnesota beat them.
Yeah, unless everybody on Colorado's team is just like drunk because they've been partying hard this week, which is very possible. Because, like, let's be honest, I was in college for West Virginia losing to Pitt 13-9. So that's what that was all about. So maybe they'll go in and lose. But if they don't, they have Nebraska, Colorado State, both teams that lost week 1. You know how hard it is to lose week 1 in college football? Just throwing it out there. Unless you actually play somebody, which like 3 teams did last weekend. Right. Everyone else played Wofford. And then they have Oregon and USC. And I'm like, if they should be 3-0, they'll be ranked then, going into play Oregon, and then they have USC. And I'm like, if they beat Oregon and start out 4-0, it won't matter what they do the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Every recruit's going there.
Yeah, they'll have made up their mind where they're going, what they're doing at the end of the season.
They're going there regardless. They're like, oh no, it doesn't matter how they end. We're going to make this a national championship team. Yeah. Like, this Colorado thing it's not stopping. It's going to start, and I'm telling you, there's going to be more people camped outside of there. There's going to be people like, I don't know what the ins and outs of the transfer thing is actually looks like, but like after this, and if this works at Colorado, you're going to see they're going to be hiring coaches just to sit on campuses saying, hey, I know you're a 4-star recruit, so you aren't playing that much. So, just a thought. Why don't you just come over here to my school? Like, I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Like, there's going to be coaches like on Pitt's campus living in a dorm somehow, like just going up to players who are frustrated. Just like, so you're a little bummed at practice. Might want to come over here. Like, I'm telling you, if this works, it's going to be, the turnover's already crazy, but it's going to get more like this Colorado and, like I said, Texas State situation where half your roster gets rolled over. That's not going to be a anomaly. It's going to be like a regular thing at schools. Yeah. It's going to be a regular thing.
I hate the
seriously. It's going to be a regular thing at schools that aren't, because Alabama's not going to worry about this. Like, like big schools like that aren't going to have to worry about that. But like the rest of them, like, because it's like Ohio State won't have to worry about that. But like the rest of the schools, which is probably, I don't know, 100 of them, are all going to have to do that, are going to start doing it. And me and you were fans of 2 of those schools. They're going to start doing it.
We are. We did then just have to pick apart those players that, are on the outside looking in at Colorado, like good players at Colorado, but there's not enough room for everybody. So if you bring in a better player, that good player has to play somewhere. So all of a sudden, hey, you got a year left. Come on over. We could use it. That's what Pitt's been doing the past handful of years. It's been a new quarterback. Come on in. You got a year left? Come on in. That's fine. We don't need to recruit our quarterback anymore. We'll just wait until you're done playing where you are and you're the backup because somebody's better there. You can come play for us. That's fine. That's second-tier college football. That's the future of second-tier college football, where we're all on the outside looking in from the top 30 that are playing each other.
Yeah. This thing, I will say, when Deion left Jackson State, it didn't feel great, didn't look great.
Yeah.
I still don't really like it because, I love Deion. Deion is probably my favorite athlete ever. And when that whole thing was happening, I was just like, it's so Deion though. Like, for all the reasons I love Deion, all the reasons I hated Deion after he left Jackson State. Because it was just like, this is such a all about me thing, and it's just like, this sucks. But that didn't mean he wasn't going to be successful in Colorado. That didn't mean it wasn't. But it didn't mean he wasn't going to bring the people and do all the things he did. But it still just is a cloud over top of it, where it's like, what's going to happen at Colorado? Because if they have a really good season, I mean, who says the NFL head coaching jobs are going to start calling? Or what's the next job in college football that's going to be like, bring all 45 recruits over to Texas A&M?
Yeah.
And we'll give you $100 million.
And they can all move that easily, and it can happen. There'll be no problem with the buyout on his contract at Colorado, and he'll move on and up to the next one. As much as he talks, like you said, he talked up what he was doing at Jackson State and HBCUs, and all of a sudden it was like, whoa, you're leaving already?
Yeah.
Like, you said a lot of things, man. You said a lot of things. And so that's the next question mark, right? How long will it take before he does the same thing in Colorado?
Yeah, it's God, it's so complicated, but it's also so much fun. Because the post game, the press conferences, dude, give me 12 of those. Give me all of those. Like, give me undefeated Colorado and all of those. Like, I loved every second of that. I did think it was kind of weird when he's like calling out reporters in the press conference. I'm like, dude, reporters aren't meant to be like fans. So like,
right.
He's like, do you believe now? Do you believe now? You're on board. There's room. And I'm like, Deion, chill out. Chill out.
You went and played a ranked team on the road. You're kind of supposed to lose. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Don't act like
it's like,
don't act like what they were saying was so obscure and like ridiculous. And they're not the ones go, oh yeah, we're rooting for TCU today. No, get out of here. Like, maybe calm that down here.
Like,
the reporters
cool
a little bit.
Yeah, give the Give the reporters a break. It's like they're not meant to be fans of your school. So
Right.
like just chill out like for a second. But I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was different. And in a time where I felt like when we were growing up, college football coaches, this probably has a lot to do with like money and branding and commercials, all that stuff, where like there were personalities. Like even like Joe Paterno had a personality, Bobby Bowden had a personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like these, like, you know, it's like these coaches, they had personality, you know, back in the day. Now they don't. They're all like just, I don't know, just boring and just no one wants to hear them talk.
True.
It was cool to have a coach you actually wanted to hear talk after a game. And I hope if anything comes from this, that's the main thing, is that you get more coaches showing their personality, because everybody's recruiting now. There's no hiding underneath the transfer, because before with transfers, you could literally be like, well, if you want to go, cool, see you, and you won't be playing football for 2 years, have fun.
Yeah.
Now you gotta work, you know what I mean? Now every time you gotta show something. And I think if anything comes out of that, it's like we're gonna get more charismatic coaches. I need that. I want that. Like if we got to hear coaches talk all the time, I need more coaches showing their personality, whatever that personality is. Everybody doesn't have to be Deion. I'm not saying that everyone does a Deion impression. I'm just like, show us something. Like, show me something.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's a good thought. That could definitely change things for the better. I would enjoy that.
Yeah. So
wild ride. Here we go.
It's gonna be a wild ride. I can't wait. And Chris was worried. He was like, we're gonna be talking. He's like, oh man, I really want to jump into this Deion discussion. I was like, trust me, we're gonna be doing Deion updates every 3 games.
Yeah, there's more to come. Yep. No doubt about it.
100%. 100%. All right. Jimmy Buffett died. The legend. What's interesting about Jimmy Buffett is that like I can't even really tell you. Have you ever been to a Jimmy Buffett concert? Did you ever find your way to one?
I actually haven't. I never been to one. No.
Me neither. But I know Jimmy Buffett, and I know how big of an impact he's had. And a lot of it has to do with drinking, okay?
Yeah.
And having fun, good times, having a great life, all that stuff. But guess what Jimmy Buffett didn't do? Even though he is the owner of Margaritaville, resorts, condos, restaurants, he didn't drink margaritas. Jimmy Buffett did not drink margaritas. He drank straight tequila with lime. Didn't like sugar, said margaritas were too sweet. I don't want to bash the man while he's dead, but what?
I think he makes he made a good point. He made a good point. I find that the majority of the time that I go out to a bar, restaurant, wherever, and I order a margarita, it's not good. It's not good. It's too sweet.
Okay.
But I think he realized that. Now, you would think of all places at Margaritaville, you could go and you could count on that. And correct me if I'm wrong, you and I and a couple other friends have shared a margarita tower at Margaritaville.
Oh, yeah.
In Las Vegas.
100%.
Wonderful. Wonderful. But it's hard for me to find a good margarita that's not too sweet. Everybody's using the mix, and the mix is trash.
Yeah.
Don't use the mix. So in one aspect, I get it where what he was saying. But quite ironic that for the last, part of his life, he had moved on from margaritas. It was straight tequila guy.
I know. I saw that and I was like, damn. Because as somebody who's been to Margaritaville in a few places, but now I'm like, I guess we shouldn't have been drinking margaritas at Margaritaville. It's weird to say.
Yeah, it's
it's weird.
It's like hearing that, he doesn't eat, he didn't eat cheeseburgers anymore, cheeseburger in paradise.
Yeah.
He was just like, I've moved on to the black bean patty and it's significantly better and I leave the cheese off.
It's like nobody wants that. Dang. But anyways,
yeah.
R.I.P.
It's a little ironic, but R.I.P. Yeah, that was a surprise.
It was a big surprise. He's not 76.
Yeah.
76.
Yeah. Not that
Like,
old. Didn't really hear
yeah.
much going on. There was a little health scare earlier in the year, I think, and there, wasn't much made of it. And then, wow, yeah, I know it affected a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people really get into the Jimmy Buffett like lifestyle, like
Yes.
really deep. And I don't think I realized that I mean, it's more than just favorite artists and a favorite couple of
Oh,
songs
yeah.
to them. That it's they have weddings based off of Jimmy Buffett themed and rooms in their house, and it's crazy. It's crazy how deep people were with. I mean, but like, did he put out new music? When was the last time he put out new music? I don't know.
Dude, I
Was
don't
he
know if I'd ever heard Jimmy Buffett not in a Jimmy Buffett atmosphere.
right? It was only tropical states. It's like the only way you
Yeah.
can hear, and like, it's the only place you'd hear Jimmy Buffett besides a Jimmy Buffett
Yeah.
concert.
Is
So
there
I don't
any
know.
artist? Is there any artist today that is like, he was a lifestyle? Like, people would go to the concerts. I remember like being in like Star Lake traffic, and like everyone would have flamingos all over their
Yeah.
car. Their car's crazy decorated, all this stuff, and you're just like, what is happening? And then you're like, oh yeah, it's a Jimmy Buffett concert. And it's like, is there any other artist today that like has a lifestyle that people want, that you're like, I want to go to the blank resort, I want to go, I want to retire in the Margaritaville condos? Like, I like,
That's a good
I'm just
question.
like, is there any artist that like could make that shift, or someone like that with lifestyle that like you're like, I want to live that lifestyle? Because that's a fascinating thing to me, is that like he just branded a lifestyle. This isn't off music. You didn't see Jimmy Buffett performing on the VMAs or the American Music Awards or the Grammys. No. Like, and that dude toured from May till September, like every year of my life, it felt like. So I'm like, is there anybody? I don't know if somebody could do that. I don't know, but somebody should. Is my point. Like, there's a lane open for you to do that for the millennial Gen Z generation. Who is going to be the one that does it?
Yeah, because every artist, artists nowadays have their like little thing or their quirk or whatever it is, or maybe their fans, Taylor Swift fans have the friendship bracelets, and but like, we're talking full on lifestyle, like you said, describing what it's like from what your car looks like to the atmosphere there, that people just want to go to experience the atmosphere and the lifestyle. And like, the music's kind of almost secondary, but everybody knows it.
It is.
But everybody, and sings along with it. You're right. Lane open. None's coming to mind that have been able to replicate a career quite like that.
Yeah. I don't, because there's just such like a fan army thing where it's like, Taylor Swift's fine, but I'm not trying to go to a Taylor Swift resort with a bunch of those weirdos.
Right.
Like,
right.
I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to like, listen, I love Beyonce. I'm not trying to go to Beyonce resort with the Beehive. No, I'm not trying to live in the Beehive. No, I'm good. Twitter's enough for me. I'm all right.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. What might have to come back to that, because I need to know who, or maybe it's somebody we're just completely overlooking. Like,
there could be. We'll have to think more. Maybe we can figure out who that should be.
Yeah.
We can adapt and adjust, and maybe that there's an opportunity for them there. So we're gonna have to give that a little bit more thought and circle back, I think. Because there's got to be somebody out there.
Yeah. Ska is dead, the resort. The lifestyle. Maybe that's it.
There we go.
All right. Before we get into music, there's one last thing I want to talk about. The U.S. Open is happening right now. And if you don't know, the U.S. Open and tennis events are literally the most, if you want to feel broke, regardless how much money you have, go to the U.S. Open. Because I hosted an event at the U.S. Open a few years ago, and I'll never forget walking up, and the guy who's running the event was like, "Oh, Mr. Dudley, do you want custom polo?" And I was like, yeah. And they're like, okay, sweet. And then just hand me this bag of polo stuff, right? And I was like, this is weird. And then I take another step and I look over and like, when you're at like events like that, little like festival things outside of things, they have like, people trying to sell you, not sell you, but like trying to tell you about a Honda or trying to tell you about a Ford. Yeah. And they have their little car set up, got their brand ambassadors. Mercedes-Benz Maybach is there doing the same thing that they do with the Silverado outside of Steelers games. Okay. I'm like, what in God's name is happening right now? And it's just like that for everything. It's like Rolex boots. It's all these things that you would get. Like, I'm like, who affords this stuff? Why am I here? This is insane. But anyways, just to give you an idea, the U.S. Open sells this cocktail called the Honey Deuce cocktail, and they sell almost $9 million of this. They sold almost $9 million of this last year, and this year they're supposed to sell up to $10 million. It's $22, the drink is, and it's it's a shot of Grey Goose, lemonade, raspberry liqueur, and 3 honeydew melon balls for the garnish. Combine them all, stir it up, you got the Honey Deuce. $22 a pop at the U.S. Open for these next 2 weeks. And what do you think about the Honey Deuce, Dan?
Does it sound delicious? Yeah. Absolutely. $22 for an ounce and a half of Grey Goose. That's what you're paying for. That's the alcohol.
Yeah. Yep.
Lemonade, raspberry liqueur, a honeydew melon balls. You're paying for labor for the melon balls. That's it. I mean, it looks like a decent sized glass, but holy shit. I was at a concert over the weekend and I was flabbergasted at the prices of cocktails, and the lines were so long. They ranged from $19 to $22. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that people were paying for that. But what you're describing as the crowd for this event was probably no problem to them whatsoever, right? They're a price this high is no issue. But I mean, do I want this? Yes, I want to enjoy it. It looks like there's 3 tennis balls floating in it. Sounds perfect for a hot day, New York. But no wonder they're making so much money on this, making more money on the cocktail than anything else.
Yeah. Dude, first thing I thought about this was like, I would be sucking these down so fast that I would just get so smashed. Like,
true.
Think about how refreshing that sounds. And like, if it's like hot in New York, I know what the weather is like in New York City, but at this time, usually it's hot as shit.
Yeah.
And I would just be destroying those, like destroying those. Like,
yeah. Because if anybody that drinks, I know some people are don't like vodka, but I don't have a problem with it. And when you're mixing it with lemonade, raspberry liqueur, I will certainly have no problem sipping it down quickly. And that's what will make this thing extra dangerous, is it'll just go down way too smooth. Like you said, kind of a hot day. It's going to taste like raspberry lemonade. That's what you're drinking. And that's dangerous. Yeah. All of a sudden, $66 later, you're like, oh my gosh. Like, whoa, man, we are toasted right now.
Yeah. I think I also, just back to your concert point, before we get into music. I think our drinks were like $22 this weekend. Yeah.
Absurd.
Yeah, I think so.
Absurd. I'm like, I'm absolutely having a beer because I'm going to pay half the price.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, the Honey Deuce. Shouts to the U.S. Open.
Have you tried replicating this one yet? It seems like it should be freaking easy.
But it seems pretty simple. The honeydew ball is the hardest part. I guess that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Try to make the little tennis balls.
Sure. Yeah, that would be it. But you could do without that, right?
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it this week. I'm going to do it today.
There you go.
Do it today.
Perfect. There you go.
That's right. Do it today, Dan. All right, let's get into music before we get out of here. Dan, what are you listening to, man?
Start off with Gail. Everybody remembers A, B, C, D, E, F,
Mm,
U, right? Everybody remembers that. But she's had a couple singles released this year. She's released her third one this past week called Leave Me for Dead. And she's been, speaking of tours and things like that, she's been on some major tours in support this summer, major tours supporting. But she's still releasing music, which is great. And this song is really catchy. It utilizes some of my favorite things, which are great group vocals and almost like march like vocals. Yeah, it definitely a different vibe than ABCDEFU, but Leave Me for Dead from Gail. Enjoy that one.
okay, good. I've kind of hopped off the Gale train. Hopefully I can get back on.
Yeah, because that song got played a
I
lot.
liked,
This is different vibe, so maybe it'll
okay.
let you kind of forget about it a little bit.
Because I liked ABCDEFU. I liked the EP she put out. And
Yep.
then she put out some songs that were very gimmicky that I didn't like that much. And
That's
I was
fair.
like, these are kind of annoying. I was like, I don't really like this. And so hopefully we get back on track.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, keep my fingers crossed on that. This is gonna throw it in there as talking about brunchies. Person of the year might be Deion. We'll see on that. But also
strong.
talk about brunchies here. Maybe best new artist, Renee Rapp. I don't know if you've heard of Renee Rapp, but she put out, in my opinion, the best debut album I have heard in a very long time. Very long time.
Whoa.
It is called Snow Angel. And if you are a person who likes pop music, you are going to love this. I'm going to put Poison on the playlist, and I might put another song on there too. Maybe Pretty Girls, not sure. But this is the best debut album from a pop singer in a while. Like, I can't say it enough. This album is great. And it's a album. It is like they fully put this together, and it is like, it's awesome. And her voice is incredible. Incredible. And goes in a bunch of different directions, and I just love it. So yeah, Renee Rapp, Snow Angel, the album. Check it out. Poison, putting it on the playlist.
All right.
Oh yeah, get ready. We're getting ready for brunches, baby.
He'll be here before we know it, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
We all know how much I love the band Churches, right? And Dee Dee, you and I were there 10 years ago when Churches was first formed. The Bones of What You Believe, their debut album, came out 10 years ago this year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And how quickly they, became popular. And yeah, we were there on their first ever tour, and they're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of that album this year. And in doing so, they're releasing some unreleased tracks and live performances that have never been heard before. And they released one of those unreleased tracks called Manhattan. And it was like the fourth song the band had ever started to write. And it was really even fully, they really didn't, they started writing it before Lauren Mayberry was really entrenched in the band as the lead singer. And so it mostly features Martin. And if you're an old school listener to Churches, you know that every one or two songs on older albums had Martin singing lead vocals on it. Doesn't really happen anymore. But this one was, and they had really started to write this song, Martin and Ian, before Lauren came in, and they played it for her. She's kind of a support vocal on this track. The harmonies go really well together. And so this is like a step back in time of Churches, a song we had never heard before, which it's got that, you can tell it's an older Churches song. It doesn't go as quite as poppy as ones they do what they release now, but I love it. It's called Manhattan. And I know we got more unreleased tracks coming our way.
Wow. 10 years.
I know.
Damn.
I know.
It's wild to think about. I moved to LA 9 years ago this weekend. It's weird.
Jeez.
Because I was thinking about that, and I was like, wait, 10 years ago, like we went to that show with Erica too. Shouts to Erica too.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, because I was fully living at home at that time. But like, damn, 10 years. Jesus.
I know. That's wild. It's absolutely
what
wild.
A time. All right. Miley Cyrus, Used to Be Young. This is a great song. it also made me sad because this is such an, I feel like, adult song for somebody who's 30 years old. Not saying that you're not adult when you're 30. It's just like, man, Miley Cyrus has lived a life. If you were writing a song at 30 years old talking about how people are saying to you, oh man, you used to be wild, you used to be where, she's like, nah, I used to be young. And I'm like, God damn, you've lived a life, Miley. Because I could write a song, because I like this song now that I'm almost 40 years old, but not somebody who just turned 30.
Right.
Like, and just, man, like, it's like, why you forget, like, you listen to the song, you think about how long Miley Cyrus has been famous and how many waves of Miley Cyrus we've seen, and you're just like, damn, I guess you would be thinking like that. Like, I'm 30. I've lived all the life I need. Leave me alone. I don't ever want to see anything again. But yeah, used to be young. It's a really, really good song. And interested to see what she does. I didn't really like the last album. I love Flowers. I didn't really like the rest of the album. And I guess she's rushing in this as she's putting this album out, another album out soon. So used to be young. Very good song.
Yeah, I was surprised when I heard the vibe of the song. Especially because how was being promoted. You know, it like had we saw those posters being posted up. It was like Party in the USA, Wrecking Ball, and then Used to Be Young or something like that, or a couple like her biggest songs. And not to say that anything against the song, but I wasn't expecting it to be slow and kind of a downer. It's kind of,
you're expecting a jam.
Tough. I was expecting a jam. Yeah. So that was a surprise. But still, yeah, great song. Last for me this week is from my girl, Sigrid.
Hey.
Love me some Sigrid. And she put out a song called The Hype. And, you know, it's just about living up to expectations in like every facet of life, their work, relationships, whatever. But it's still like upbeat, catchy. And I think this song would be amazing live. And Sigrid, girl, come on. I need you back in the United States. I can't be traveling over to Norway to see you. You know what I mean? Like, we saw her at Coachella, and, you know, I've got to see her live again because I think The Hype would be a great one live.
That is awesome. All right. I am going to put on the playlist, of course, Beyonce. I'm going to put this is actually on the Homecoming, the live album. There's one song on there that's not from the live show, but she plays this live. Before I Let Go, which is Frankie Beverly and Mays cover, and putting this on the playlist. Before I Let Go, Beyonce just had everybody in the crowd singing, dancing. Everybody was happy. There's videos of like a random group of people, like Jay-Z, Kris Jenner, and like Tyler Perry doing the electric slide in the audience during the song. It's a just wild collection of people in the floor doing the electric slide to it. And but yeah, Before I Let Go, Beyonce. Renaissance tour is almost done. I just, man, shouts to live music being back. It just feels right. And I know it's been, you know, but if it's like fully back like this year in 2023, and it just feels right. It just makes me happy.
It does.
We're fully back.
Good. Feels good to be back at those shows on a regular basis. Yeah.
Yes. Just to have like all these shows just happening all at the same time. And I have like a full slate in the fall that I'm like very excited to get into. Yeah. All right. Well, that's what we're listening to. Listen to the playlist every week on Spotify. I didn't skip you, did I? You did 3. I did 3.
No, yeah, I got 3. You're good.
Yeah. It's always weird to do this when Chris isn't here because I feel like I can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but then it's like us 2. I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, listen to the playlist on Spotify. Sounds of Brunch. Tell Alexa, tell Siri, tell whoever you're yelling into the speaker, tell them to play the Sounds of Brunch playlist on Spotify. Dan, any final thoughts on the brunch breakdown today?
Well, we've officially kicked off fall, Didi. We've announced it being the start of fall. So that also means it's pumpkin spice season. So happy pumpkin spice season to everybody. Everything's out there. I love it. Pumpkin beers to follow on many, many brews days ahead. Very, very excited.
Oh my God. Yes. And for me, it's apple crisp macchiato season at Starbucks.
Oh, there you go.
Go. That's the brunch breakdown. We're out.